Abilene has a winning culture, and so we're not bringing in guys just to go and play baseball games. It's not just a summer hobby or anything. We're here for everybody to get better and get what they want out of the summer. And for me, I think that biggest thing is winning a championship and then helping as many guys as we can to get their goals of what they want to be.
And welcome into the Coaches Spotlight here for the Abilene Flying Bison. We've talked with a couple coaches so far. We got to speak with bench coach Blake Sanford. We got to talk with manager Kyle Dice. And now another member of Kyle Dyson's staff. It is the pitching coach for your Abilene Flying Bison, Mr. Kyler Harris. Kyler, how we doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is a treat. We get to meet another member of the coaching staff. And the best part about this is the fans get to really get to know who you are. So I guess starting out, kind of talk about what all went into this signing and bringing you onto the Bison.
So, right now I'm out in North Carolina and originally from Houston area. So wanted to get back in Texas as quickly as I could. And so reached out to John, and luckily enough, they were looking for a pitching coach. And so after talking with him for a little bit, I thought that it would be a really good fit. And thankfully they gave me the opportunity to go and help win ball games with the pitching staff. So it was pretty quick. But I'm really excited.
Now, right now, you're coaching for Pitt Community College. You've had a phenomenal resume at Camp Community College. You did summer ball in the CPL as well, so you do have experience there. What originally got you into coaching baseball in the first place?
To be honest, I was a pretty bad player. And so I loved to work. I was always one of the first guys to practice, last guys to leave, that sort of thing. But for some reason could just never really turn it into the game and have the stats that I ever really wanted to help the team win. And so after some opportunities that I got to go into facilities and just branching out to a bunch of different programs, I really got to learn from a bunch of different people and realize, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to help the guys that, they're just not seeing the results that they want, but they know they can get there. I want to be help them be that bridge and mentor them to help get them the results that they want and get to the championship. And so I would say that that's probably the biggest thing. And then also I just love being around people every day. And so, I love to have that as much energy as I can throughout the day to day. And kind of if a guy's having a bad day, then hopefully I can be the one to put a smile on his face or help turn things around. And so kind of between those two things, I think that was kind of where I realized that coaching was probably going to be my calling.
It's funny you mentioned kind of just not having, obviously, the player success you wanted. I dealt with the same thing, and that's why I'm in the booth now, which sometimes it just works like that. You're always still around the game of baseball. But you touched on, being that player's coach and being there to build those personal bonds. When it comes to summer baseball, a lot of people talk about what the big benefit is. For you having experience in summer baseball, what have you seen being the best benefit for these college players going in and getting the extra work during summer season?
So I think that it's all kind of a case-by-case scenario where you have some guys that are in the junior college or now in the transfer portal, and so they're looking for a home. And so this is a really great opportunity for them to go and get more innings, put up more stats, and get them to that school that they want to. Maybe they're trying to go to the next level or wherever it may be, saying, hey, I went to the summer, put up these stats, and I'm showing that I can do what I want to do. And on the flip side, some guys that have that really high talent, but just could never put it together in the spring, didn't get as many opportunities as they wanted. This gives them the opportunity to go get more innings, get them in some high pressure situations so that whenever they get back to their school, they have that experience under their belt. And so I think that everybody can benefit from it. And so it's just something that we take into account for, okay, what is their past and how do we need to help them get them better for their future?
Have we seen a bit of a shift in the way that summer ball, you get that benefit? Because you look at the transfer portal taking over a lot of college baseball and college athletics in the first place. I think before we saw a lot of guys just going there to get the extra reps. Obviously, you mentioned, some of these guys might not get the reps they wanted during the spring. Now things are changing a bit. Do you see kind of shifting a little bit, that benefits kind of going up a little bit more for the transfer portal guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I came from a bunch of small colleges, and so there was still really good baseball at those small colleges, but you get to the bigger schools where they're still trying to see, okay, we want to see how this guy actually fares against top end talent rather than what you might say lower levels. And so this is just a really good chance for those guys to say, okay, I put up good stats where I was. Now I'm going to go up to a quote unquote higher level and then have the opportunity to continue to put up really good stats.
Now, looking at your background, and you have a background in science, sports science, and kinesiology. Being the pitching coach, and in your past, you've also been a pitching analyst. How big of a boost is that in when dealing with a lot of these young pitchers? Arms are developing so fast. Just trying to mold them into the player they're going to be.
So I think it's awesome. I think, just the way that baseball is trending right now, like there's a new language in a sense to where you used to hear the old thing of, oh, a guy has really good ride on the heater. Oh, he has a really good curveball. But now, I mean, I'm on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, and you see all of those. And now people are talking about IVB or horizontal break or spin rate, spin efficiency. So finding a way to blend that of, okay, what are we trying to get this guy to be on the mound? And then how can we relay it to the pitcher? So some guys, a lot of the younger guys, they like the numbers. They like to be able to speak that language. So having the ability to say, okay, this is what this means. This is how we can affect it in the game. And that's how we can get hitters out. And so I think it's all just, you got to learn to evolve. And so as we go and continue to see these trends on how the baseball is going, we just got to be able to stay evolved and stay learning. And so I think right now, at least a lot of the guys that I'm working with right now, that's how they like to talk. That's the language that they speak. So I'm not going to do them any service if I have no clue what they're talking about. So I just got to learn as much as I can to be able to help them out.
That kind of brings me up to my next question, and the way that your coaching style is as a pitching coach. Again, pitching coach, pitching analyst have been titles that you've had for the past few years. Where do you see yourself coaching wise? Is it more of an old school tactic, or like you had mentioned, kind of adapting to the new school methods, or is it just that mixture of both?
Yeah, I like to stay in the middle. I definitely would say it's a mixture of both, where I have some of my guys who are saying, "Hey, you need to yell at me every single day," and that's just how I learn. Other guys, if I yelled at them, they're not going to adapt to that. So I think it's just you got to get to know the player first, read him, think about his background, how he came up, what's his learning style, and then if I got to be the mean guy, then I'll try to be. I'm not the best at it, but I'm working on it. But if the guy needs just a pick me up, then okay, let's do that. Let's rock. Let's have some fun.
It's so fun to hear about that, like the way that you can adapt to these players. We already on our coaching staff, Kyle Dyson, our manager, Blake Sanford, has kind of said the same thing, the way they can adapt to these players, and the coaching style is kind of player by player basis. So that's always good to hear. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about your personal background. When you're not coaching, what is Kyler Harris doing for fun?
It kind of depends on the season. I'm a bit of an ADHD guy, so I'll be on a new trend every week. I went to a little bit of a disc golf grind for a little bit. I was actually sponsored by a company for a couple years in high school. And then I love to go fishing, so that's another big thing. I'm honestly just a big traveler. So if I have the opportunity, then right now in North Carolina, I'm about an hour from the beach, about 4 hours from the mountains. So if I can, I'm just going to go and try new places. So that's probably it. I mean, other than that, I'm usually just kind of at home reading or trying to learn something new, to be honest. Like I love documentaries, just trying to pick up new things.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Are you a big golf guy at all? I know being in the Carolinas, it can, bring out the golf in you. That's where you go see, especially South Carolina. I was there past couple months and played some great courses, but not great golf.
Yeah, that I was gonna say that's about how I am. I try to, but I right now I'm gonna be honest. I'm using a set of clubs that are for a 4'11" woman, and so I'm gonna blame the clubs right now. Say that okay, that's why I'm bad. But no, I love golf, but I probably need to hit the range a little bit more before I can get on the links.
I've said that time and time again, but there's always that one golf shot that brings me back to the next 18 that I play. So that's why we play the game, and that's why we go out there and enjoy it. You talk about the transition going from the East Coast now here to West Texas. And just before we started this interview, you had mentioned you're from the Houston area, so you're kind of acclimated a little bit to the Texas side of it, but West Texas, not as humid as Houston. A little bit of a different factor. Aside from the heat, what adjustments are you looking for going into this season?
So, in terms of lifestyle, I would say being on the East Coast right now, the North Carolina barbecue is going to be a lot different from the Texas barbecue. So, I've already been trying to research on all the places to go into that. More so in terms of the baseball, I would say that, I think that there's a little bit of a different culture in terms of just how baseball is played on the East Coast versus down in Texas. So, I think that it's going to be really fun and exciting to go and just see again and get back into that Texas style. And obviously with summer baseball, it's a constant grind and it's a lot of day to day. So I think it's just going to be awesome to just try and absorb myself in every game after game after game and living life on the road.
You'd mentioned the barbecue side of it. One place that you, me, Sanford, and a bunch of others are going to have to go is Jay's Barbecue Shack here in Abilene. It is top 50 in Texas, ranked. That's some of the best barbecue you'll have. So that's going to have to be a thing here.
Oh, I'm absolutely here for it. Don't have to tell me twice.
All right. When we look at, obviously, you've had a young career so far, now jumping to the coaching scene. What can you think of as one of your greatest moments that you've been able to be a part of so far?
So I would say so far, I was probably at my previous college, Camp Community College. In my first year, we were able to make it to the World Series, and then we actually had our first World Series win in program history. So I would say that just that whole run, we had a really good group of sophomore guys that really took leadership of the freshmen and kind of showed them under their wing. And that was probably the best thing. Whereas we had a bunch of ragtag guys where we didn't have the most talented team on paper by any means, but we had a bunch of true development and everybody just wanted to play for each other. And so I would say being able to get that first World Series win in program history is probably the top tier.
Man, that's a feeling unlike any other whenever you get to experience that, especially when you start getting the championship level and just get to celebrate it and bask in all the glory. You look at summer ball as a whole, it's a stepping stone for players, coaches, staff members. For you, I have to ask the ultimate goal. What are we looking at here for you?
So are you meaning for the summer or end game?
Well, let's start out summer. I guess summer-wise, here with the Flying Bison, what are we looking at for you?
So at the end of the day, I mean, we're here to win a championship. Like I think that's the number one thing where it's been Abilene has a winning culture, and so we're not bringing in guys just to go and play baseball games. It's not just a summer hobby or anything. We're here for everybody to get better and get what they want out of the summer. And for me, I think that biggest thing is winning a championship and then helping as many guys as we can to get their goals of what they want to be.
I love it. Now let's look at your personal end game ultimate goal. Where do you want to be when you reach that top?
I ask myself that a lot. I think that it's been kind of a little bit of a back and forth where I know that I want to stay in college baseball, and I think that it's just I want to be a pitching coach at the highest level that I can be, whether that's a Division I or if I can make a bigger impact at another school. I think that it's just finding a home that I can make the biggest impact on the players that I have.
You talk about the winning culture here in Abilene. There's a lot of pride here in baseball in Abilene. There's a reason that baseball has come back to Abilene, especially here during the summer. You'll see that throughout the season during our games as well. What message do you have for the Flying Bison fan base that you'll definitely get to meet when you get here and just kind of get them ready for the 2026 season?
I would say that the biggest message is stay in contact with us as much as you guys can. Like at the end of the day, we're all people, and I just want to support you guys as much as you guys support the Flying Bison. And so I think that as long as we can continue to make a great community, that only enhances the on-field play and then enhances the on the field experience for you guys. And so at the end of the day, yes, we are very player driven and want the players to have the best experience, but if the fans aren't having good experiences, then we're not doing our jobs. And so I think that that's the biggest thing is I want to be able to build relationships with you guys and all the fan base just as much as the players, other coaching staff, and then all of the front office staff.
Well, Kyler, we are excited to have you aboard. We are wishing you the best of luck with Pitt Community College this season, hoping that you guys achieve the maximum potential you guys can. And we can't wait for the season. We're excited to have you.
Oh, thank you very much. I can't wait to get down.